Ciao, my name is Alessandro, but you can call me Yuchi, and this is Johanna, and today we're gonna be learning how to play and playing Digit Code, a deduction game where you're gonna be cracking your opponent's code, I guess. This game is published by Playte Games, who kindly sent this game with many other games that you see behind here for review. And you're gonna be able to find the how to plays and playthroughs of all these games at the link showing right now at the top right corner of the screen. Also, Playte Games will be participating in UK Games Expo 2025, and you're gonna be able to find them at the Revelation Games booth. You can find all the information at the description down below of this video, and you're also gonna be finding the link for the pre-order of any of these games. Also, don't forget to show appreciation to the channel, right?
Yes, like and subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want, and if you feel extremely generous, remember that you can always support the channel at Patreon or Ko-fi, and there's gonna be the links down below in the description. I would be immensely grateful if you decided to do so, and thanks to everybody who already supports the channel. But now let's dive into cracking some codes. Are we hackers of some sorts? I don't know. Let's learn how to play digit code. And let's learn how to crack some codes in digit code. So the setup is pretty simple. The only thing you really need to do is come up with a code, a 6-digit code, and write it in this gray area as I've done it. You can see it's a 151384. This is going to be your secret code. There is only one rule about this code, and the rule is that two adjacent numbers vertically or horizontally cannot be the same number. So I could have not written a 1 here or a 1 here because I've written a 1 here. And the numbers obviously range from 0 to 9. You have all the possible examples here. And you're basically ready to start playing. This is the area where you're gonna try to deduce your opponent's digit code, while this is the area where you have all your digit code. I know there's a lot of stuff written on here. I just wanted to show you all the things, but I'm gonna explain them as we go. So during your turn, you can do two things. Either ask a question to your opponent about their code, or try to guess the answer. Let's start by introducing all the types of questions you can ask to your opponent. The first question you can ask is, how many spaces are filled in a specific column or row? So as you can see, each column or row are identified by a letter that ranges from A to S. So if my opponent would ask me how many spaces are filled in column C, then I would answer 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is why I have written a 4 here, because I already know at a glance how many spaces are filled in that column. The same would go with a row. If they ask me like, how many spaces are filled in row P, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spaces are filled in row P. And you can keep track of all these answers by writing the numbers here in these spaces on the right of the numbers or at the bottom of the numbers. The second type of question you can ask is the number in position T, U, V, W, X, or Y, so you need to choose one of those, is that number even or odd? Pretty easy, they're gonna tell you if it's even or odd, and you can keep track of that by using these pips. So 1 pip means odd, 2 pips means even, and that's why I circled all these pips in my code. As you can see, I have odd, 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 even, even. Then you can identify two adjacent numbers in the code, and you can ask which one is bigger. So you can ask something like, which one is bigger between U and V? And in this case, it would be a U, and they would know that U is bigger than V. You can also do this vertically. I forgot to mark the spots here, but basically you can ask which one is bigger between T and W, and in this case, it would be W. So in this case, it would look something like this. In this case it will look something like this, and in this case it will look something like this. The fourth and last type of question you can ask is if a specific space is filled. So you identify a space by their coordinates identified with the letters. So is the space in C, M filled? And they're gonna tell you if it's filled or not. So in case we looked at my code, in this case it would be filled because C and M would identify exactly the bottom part of my 1. Now, during the first round and during the first round only, each player starts by asking all the 4 types of questions once. After that, each player can ask only 1 question per turn. As I said, you can also use your turn to try and guess the code. In the case, you basically forfeit your turn to try and guess the code, and if you're correct, you guess the code correctly. If you're wrong, you have only 1 other attempt, because you can only maximum guess the code incorrectly 1 time. If you do it 2 times, you immediately lose the game. Now, you need to keep track of who's the first player in the game, because if the first player guesses correctly the code, then the second player will also have a chance to guess the code on their turn. If they guess it correctly, then the game ends in a tie. While if the second player on their turn tries to guess the code and they're correct, then in that case the second player wins immediately. And this is basically how digit code plays into. You can also play this game in more than 2 players, but in that case, 1 person will be the game master, which will be the person who actually creates a code for everybody to deduce, and in that case, the first player to actually deduce or guess the code correctly will win the game. There's only 2 things that are different in this variant. The first thing is that in the first round, everybody just asks 1 question, so the first round has no special rules, and the second thing that is special is that everybody will know the answers to the question. So both the questions and answers are public for everybody to know and use in their deduction. And that's all you need to know to play digit code. Let's look at our 2 players playthrough. And we're ready to start playing digit code. You're gonna be playing with me, so you're gonna be seeing everything I do on my player sheet, but Johanna is gonna be against me, and we're gonna try to deduct Johanna's code. So let's come up with the code and then let's start.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I created my code and Johanna has created her code. I filled all the necessary information, hope they're correct. And yeah, we can start. Johanna, you can start since you won our trial.
Thank you.
And Joanna's gonna start by asking all the 4 types of questions for the first round, and then I'm gonna ask all the 4 types of questions for my first turn, and then we're gonna keep progressing, asking 1 question each.
So how many are filled in column F?
In column F, we have 4 spaces filled.
And is T even or odd?
T is even.
And which is bigger between U and V?
Between U and V, V is bigger.
And is DM filled?
So the space in DM is not filled. Okay, I'm gonna ask the same 4 questions. So let's start by asking how many spaces are filled in F.
F, that is 3.
That was to be expected. Okay, so is the number in U even or odd?
That one is even.
Even. Which number between U and X is bigger?
X is bigger than U.
X is bigger than U. And let's see, what can we ask? Is the space in FP filled?
Yes, that one is filled.
Okay.
Okay, so it's my turn again.
Yes, it is.
How many are filled in column I?
In column I, we have 4 spaces filled.
Oh, nice. You're making it easy for me. Thank you.
Yes. How many spaces are filled in E?
E. Oh, 6 of them.
Okay, jackpot.
Yeah.
Jackpot. Okay, that's good, that's good.
Okay, maybe copy that. How many are filled in your column E?
3. I'm trying to use this marker, but that's not like the best choice ever. Let me see.
It was your turn, or?
I think it is, but I need to study.
Yeah, yeah.
So the clues that we have so far for the second digit tell us that it is an even number. So it can either be a 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8, but it cannot be a 0 or a 4 because all the three spaces in the middle are filled. Now, for the second digit, I know it cannot be a 0 or a 1. I know also it cannot be a 4, a 5, a 6, or a 7 because of how the spaces are filled. How many spaces are filled in D?
In D, 2.
2. So this information tells us that the top number cannot be the 8. If the top number were the 8, since the bottom number has to be bigger than the top number, the bottom number would have to be a 9, and in column D there would be 3 spaces filled. So we know that it cannot be an 8. We also know that the top number cannot be a 6, because if it were a 6, it would mean that the bottom number would have to be bigger than a 6. So either a 8 or a 9, because we already excluded the 7. And in that case, at least 3 spaces in column D would be filled. So this leaves us with the conclusion that the top number has to be a 2.
Actually, I'm gonna ask the same question again. How many are in your column D?
0.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear.
Very bad. Very, very bad. Also, the bottom number cannot be a 3 because at least one of the 2 spaces on the left has to be filled, and it cannot be an 8 because otherwise all the 2 spaces on the left would be filled. So this leaves us with 2 options, a 2 or a 9, but since 2 same numbers cannot be adjacent, the bottom number cannot be a 2 and it will have to be a 9. So since 2 numbers adjacent cannot be equal, I'm gonna remove all of these options here. Okay, how many spaces are filled in row J?
In row J, that is 3.
3 it is. So since both number on the sides of the 2 have the top line, it means that none of them can be a 1 or 4 because 1 and 4 are missing the top line.
So then I'm wondering if EQ is filled.
EQ
Yes.
is not filled.
Great, because I was about to make a mistake there.
Great. Good that you caught your mistake. Let me ask you, how many spaces are filled in I?
3. How many spaces are filled in G?
1. How many spaces are filled in column H?
Column H. And that one is 4.
Okay, very good, very good.
I don't like it.
So on the bottom of the bottom number, I wrote 4 or 7. The reason is that we know that in column I, we have 3 spaces filled. Now all of the digits from 0 to 9 have the 2 spaces of the right hand side of their number filled, except 2, 5 and 6. This means that one of these 2 numbers has to be a 2, a 5 or a 6, and the other has to be one of the other digits. But if you think about it, all numbers 2, 5 and 6 have all the 3 spaces in the middle of the number filled. So this is important information because by knowing that in column H we only have 4 spaces filled, we know that 3 are taken by the number that is either a 2, a 5 or a 6, and 1 has to be taken by the other number. And so this tells me that the other number has to be a number that only has 1 space in the middle filled, and there is only 2 numbers with this requirement, which are 4 and 7. Now, I don't know which one of the top or bottom number are a 4 or 7, because also the top number might be a 7, but we know that one of these two numbers is a 2, 5 or 6, and the other number has to be a 4 or a 7.
How many are filled in H?
2. How many are filled in O?
In O, let's see. O, there is 2.
2.
Mm-hmm. How close are you to finding the code? It feels like it's going better for you this time.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Is GP filled?
No. How many are filled in column G?
Column G, that is 2.
2, you say?
But I do not make any sense of the information that I've gotten from you. Just to double check, V was bigger than U, right?
Yes, V is bigger than U.
So which one is bigger between V and Y?
Y. How many are filled in L?
2 are filled. How many are filled in column C?
3. How many are filled in row Q?
1. But that's very small.
1. I see. Okay. Ugh. So this is something. So here I'm removing all the numbers that have the middle spot filled. So I'm removing everything except 0, 1 and 7.
Which is bigger between T and W?
W. So if this is a 3, it means that one of these two numbers needs to be either a 2, a 5 or a 6, because they are the only ones who have like the right missing, okay? So 2, 5 or 6. But if this is a 4 and both 2, 5 and 6 have 3 in the middle, it means that the other one only has a 1. So it can either be a 7 or a 4. Now, by telling me that this is empty because here there's only a 1, this has to be a 7. This has to be a 7. And therefore, it means that if we link all the other information, especially this one, that we have a 2 here, then this, I guess it's supposed to be something like this. So now, we're still pretty far. So now, since we know that in row L we have 2 spaces filled, we also know that the middle space in the first digit is going to be empty. So in this case also, both numbers on top or bottom in the first column can be either a 0, a 1 or a 7, because they are the only ones with a missing space. We also know that the top number cannot be a 1 because we already filled one spot on top, because we know that all the top spots in row J basically are filled. So we know that the top number is either a 0 or a 7 and the bottom number is either a 0, a 1 or a 7. Now let me think which question I want to ask. I mean, doesn't matter what I ask, I know this is gonna be like this. Okay, let's ask, I need to be smart here. How many are filled in B?
2.
2. Okay, 2. So the only way to have a two spaces field in column B is having a 0 and a 1 or a 7 and a 7. But we know that two equal numbers cannot be adjacent, so it has to be a 0 and a 1. So the top number will be a 0 and the bottom number will be a 1.
Is CM filled?
CM. It is not.
Great.
I think I am ready to give my first guess, which I hope is gonna be the only guess. So from top to bottom, left to right, is the code 026197.
No, it is right. No.
It is right. Okay, cool. Yeah, that the first two numbers were actually the easiest to deduct. All the others, it took me like until the previous round.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but yeah, this is how you play digit code. I could have actually gotten another chance in case that was wrong. How close were you in the deduction?
I'm one away from guessing, so I have one number left, but I think it's from top left.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that I don't know, and 1, 7.
Did you have like two chances for that for W? Did you have like two undecided between two or more?
Well, I know that it's bigger than 2.
Okay.
But then that doesn't give me that much to go on. So it can be 3, 4, 7, 8, and 9.
Okay. So it can be basically everything. It was a 4.
Okay, nice.
It was a 4. Okay, yeah, but that's how you play digit code. Okay, this is all. This is how you play digit code. This was us cracking some code. And remember, you're gonna be able to find Playte Games at UK Games Expo if you want, and all the information is at the description below. You're gonna be able to find this game and all the other games that I'm gonna bring to this channel, plus all their immense catalog, so feel free to browse it out. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video. Ciao ciao!
Bye.